Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated 2023 book releases. So these are going to be all the books that I am most excited for that are going to be coming out in the coming year. Obviously, there are tons of books that haven't been announced yet that I'm sure I'll be super excited about as well, but these are just the ones that I've gathered for this video today. So let's get right into the books. So first is Meet Me at the Lake by Carley Fortune, which comes out on May 2nd. This one is obviously written by the same author as Every Summer After, and I really love that book. I loved that it was set near Toronto too, which I think was really cool because I complain about this all the time, but a lot of Canadian authors don't write about Canadian cottage country, which I always find so sad because I think that that's just like the perfect setting for any romance book. And so I think that someone who's familiar with that landscape should be able to write that, but a lot of times they like to write about US destinations instead, which I just think is kind of sad because, like I said, there's so much potential here. And so this book actually does take place in Canadian cottage country, which I thought was really cool. And I did enjoy the first book. The second book is the same, set in Toronto and Muskoka, which is exciting. And what I'm really excited about with this book is the cover. This one obviously matches the first. I guess it's not the first book. I don't think they actually go together. I think it's just sort of like Emily Henry's books where they all kind of look similar but they're not connected. So this is just another cottage romance. It's not like a standalone in a series. So Every Summer After came out with two different covers, one for Canada and one for, I guess, like the rest of the world. And I really hated the Canadian cover, and I didn't honestly see anyone else say that they liked the Canadian cover. I'll put both on the screen over here so you can see what I'm talking about. Obviously, the one with them like jumping off the dock is the one that was sold everywhere else, and the Canadian one is the one that's kind of pink. It sort of looks like a pool, and I just really didn't like that. And so I actually bought a US copy of this book because I just really wanted the other cover, and I'm really glad that with this new book that is coming out, Meet Me at the Lake, they are giving us the pretty cover. Like, in my opinion, it matches the first one. It's just pink, which is super cool. I'm super excited about that, and I'm glad that they sort of reevaluated the different Canadian cover thing because I wasn't a fan of that when they did that. But this book sounds so good. It follows a girl who was with this guy for 24 hours in downtown Toronto one day, and it sounds like they just, like, you know, really connected that day and spent the whole day together talking and doing all these different things. And then they made this plan that they were going to meet up somewhere and, I guess, hang out or whatever. And she showed up and he didn't. So she has kind of just been like, okay, like maybe he just like didn't like me or whatever, and she goes about her life, he goes about his life, and she now is kind of in a position where she has to take over her mother's resort in Muskoka, which I just think is going to be such a good setting for this book, like I said. And so she has to go back home to run this inn or resort or whatever it is, and this guy ends up showing up out of the blue, and he's just like, okay, I can help you with this place. And she's like, what the heck? Like, it's 9 years later. This resort is just like falling apart. The girl's ex-boyfriend is the manager, and she's just having all these issues when this guy shows up, and he's like, okay, like, I can help you. And she's like, you know, something's off about him, like he's not the same as when I knew him 9 years ago, like what's up with that? He's hiding something, kind of thing. And this just sounds so good and so cute and so summery. Like, I am so gonna read this like as soon as it comes out. I am so excited for this one. Next is Shattered Truths by H. Hunting or Helena Hunting. This one comes out on August 29th. I love this series that Helena Hunting is writing. She really has like certain series that just like really, I feel like, hit the nail on the head, and this is one of them. Like, it is so good. I gave the first book 5 stars. At the time I'm filming this, I haven't read the second book, but I'm sure by the time this video goes up I will have, and I probably will love that one too because I've heard so many good things about that one as well. This is like a next generation series, but it's basically like a spin-off of the Pucked series and the All In series. So it's 2 of her series together and like their kids' relationships now. So this one follows Randy and Lily's son, who are from the original Pucked series. I think they're in Pucked Over and maybe Pucked Under. I think they're both about them. So that couple's son is now going to be in this book, and I'm just so excited. Like I said, I love this whole series. I've really heard good things about the second book. I loved the first book, gave it 5 stars, and I'm just really excited to see where she goes with this series. I'm hoping this isn't the last book in the series because it's called The Lies, Hearts, and Truths. series, and they all have that in the title. Like the first one's Little Lies, and then it's Bittersweet Heart, and then Shattered Truths. So we've covered like lies, hearts, and truths. So I'm hoping this isn't the last book. I'm hoping she is going to write more because I really like where the series is going. And so I'm super, super excited to get this one. A cover hasn't even been announced for this book yet at the time that I'm filming this, so I don't know what you're going to be looking at over here. I don't know, I'll find something, I guess, to stick in this spot. But I am so, so excited for this one to come out. Like I said, I love like pretty much all of Helena Hunting's hockey books, and so these ones are just another set that I really enjoy. Next is What the Hex by Jessica Clare. This comes out April 4th. This is the second book to Go Hex Yourself by Jessica Clare, which I absolutely loved. I gave 5 stars to. I thought it was honestly the best like witchy romance book I've ever read. I really, really enjoyed it. And so this is the second one. It's like a companion novel to the first one because we actually see the couple that's going to be in this book in the first one. They sort of get paired together at the end of that book, and so I don't want to say too much about that, but I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to have like enemies to lovers vibes and definitely like Grumpy Sunshine. So I'm really, really excited to get to this one. Like I said, the first one was so, so good. If you haven't read that one, like 100% go read it. It is so good. And so I'm really, really excited for this one to come out because I'm hoping it's just as good. Next is Jasper, Vale by Devney Perry. This one comes out January 31st, so not super far away. But I am very excited for this one. This is the 4th full-length novel in the Eden series. It's like the 5th actual book because there's like a little novella at the beginning. But I'm excited for this one. I didn't love Garnet Flats as much as I loved the first 3 books, but I think that this one may be up my alley. I am excited for this one. I love this series. I love the town. I gave the first 2 books in this 5 stars, gave the third one 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. I think, like I said, I think I will probably like this next one. I find Devney Perry does a really good job of setting up the next book when you finish one of the books in her series. Like, you're dying to know about this next couple. So I am really excited to get to this one, to get to read about them, because it was definitely hinted at the end of the last book. So I'm really excited to get this one. I don't know much about it, like trope-wise or plot-wise, like what it's gonna be like, but I am excited to read it because I have been enjoying the series. I know obviously a lot of these books I don't know a lot about, mostly because they're like maybe like the 4th or 5th book in a series, and I don't want to tell you about the other books because they're kind of spoilery, and I also myself don't want to read the synopsis for these other books because I don't really want to know what's going to happen until I read them. So I'm sorry if these are like kind of vague, but these are just like, I'm just trying to like tell you about the books I'm excited about, I guess, and I may not be the best source of like actual plot information currently. Next is Happy Place by Emily Henry, which comes out April 25th. I am really excited for this one. Emily Henry is an auto-buy author for me, even though I find I don't necessarily love all of her books. Like, I don't necessarily give them all 5 stars. People We Meet on Vacation is actually the only one I've given 5 stars to. Didn't really vibe with book lovers, and Beach Read I thought was okay. I would like to revisit that one though, because I think maybe if I reread it at a different time I would like it. But this one sounds like it's going to be right up my alley. It's called Happy Place, I'm pretty sure I said that. And it follows a couple who was together for years and broke up 6 months ago, but they didn't tell their best friends. And they go on this yearly trip to this big like cottage, I guess. And they end up obviously sharing a room because that's probably how it was always done on these annual trips. And so they're pretending to be together for the sake of their friends. So there's definite fake dating going to be happening in this one, which I'm excited for. And also, only one bed, I imagine, is going to be like a big topic in this one because they're probably staying in only one bed for the entire time that they are there. And this one just sounds really good. It sounds like they are still into each other, but they're not getting together. I don't know why. Obviously, it'll probably work up to that in the book, but I'm just so, so excited for this one. It sounds right up my alley, so I'm hoping that I love it as much as I loved People We Meet on Vacation, and I really love the cover of this one. I love all of Emily Henry's covers. They're so, so pretty, and so I'm really excited for this one as well. Next is Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey, which comes out February 7th. I am really excited for this one too. This one is Grumpy Sunshine, and it follows a girl who sounds like she still lives in her small town that she grew up in, and there was this guy that I think she almost kissed when she was like in high school or maybe college, and he has now moved back. He's a professor, and she is like very much the sunshine. She's planting flowers all over the place. She gets hired to do the landscaping at the place he's staying at, and he is just like very grumpy, and like they describe it as her being like super colorful and his life being in grayscale. And I just like that sort of like comparison. I think it sounds really cool. and it sounds like she gets really drunk one night with like a bunch of her friends and ends up writing him a note that she is like in love with him and leaves it on his doorstep, but I don't think he quite figures out who it's from or realizes that he knew her in the past. And so I'm really excited for this one. It sounds like it's gonna be really good. I think it's the first in a new series that Tessa Bailey's writing, so that's pretty exciting. I imagine they'll probably be like interconnected standalones, which will be cool. Like I said, really excited for this one. It sounds really, really good. I love a good Grumpy Sunshine book, so I'm excited for this one. I also love that like all of these books, well not all of them, but like a lot of them have pink covers this year, I've noticed, and I'm just really here for that. Obviously I love the pink, so I'm really excited for that. This next book, there's almost no information out about when I'm filming this, and that is One of Us is Back by Karen M. McManus. This is the third and I believe final book in the One of Us is Lying series, which I'm really excited for. I have read the first two books. The first one I thought was good, but I didn't love because I knew who was behind everything right off the bat, and so that kind of like ruined it a little bit for me. The second book I gave 4.5 stars to, though. I really, really loved. The only thing that has come out about this book at the time that I'm filming is that it's going to be published in the summer. That is literally it. I don't even have a published date at this time, and definitely no like plot information, but I'm excited to see what it's about, where it goes. I do remember the second book sort of ending on something that could be carried forward into another book, so it'll be interesting to see if that is where it picks up or if it just like starts a totally new sort of storyline. And so I'm excited to see what she does with that. I have really been loving her writing lately, so really excited about this one. Next is The Only Game in Town by Lacie Waldon, which comes out on March 21st. This is the third book by this author. I really enjoyed the first two. I gave The Layover 5 stars and From the Jump 4 stars. Really enjoyed both of them. This one I think is sort of interesting because it's a little bit different. Her other books are very travel focused, and this one is more just about a small town that I guess has this really rich guy that leaves all his money to the town, but there's like a competition they have to compete in order to get it. And he has predetermined the teams for this competition, so they don't get to like swap their partners. Like they have to be partnered with whoever this guy said that they should be partnered with. And I think she ends up partnered with his son or something like that. I'm not really sure, but I think they don't like each other. So I think it's sort of like an enemies to lovers kind of vibe. I'm not 100% sure because it doesn't really say in the synopsis, but I am excited for this one because like I said, I did enjoy the author's previous books. So I think this will be really cool. I love a good small town book too, so that sold me right away on this one. So I am really, really excited for this one to come out. And so those are my most anticipated releases for 2023. I did want to note that I did want to include some like indie authors in here and some like independently published books, but I've noticed that they don't really announce those all too far in advance. So I'm sure there will be some that come out this year that I will be really excited for, like one being anything QB Tyler writes, I am here for. But like I find they announce their books maybe like a month or two before they're released, not so much like a year in advance like these bigger authors, or not bigger authors, but like traditionally published authors. I feel like announce it way in advance because the book is already written and it's just going through edits and stuff. Whereas like I feel like I get that indie authors want to wait until the book is actually like closer to being done to say like I'm writing a book, but I found I couldn't really include any of those in here because like I don't know what they're gonna write or when they're gonna come out because they haven't announced them yet, but I'm sure there are plenty that I'm really excited to read, so I just wanted to say that. Like I didn't purposely exclude those, it's just there's not a lot of information about them. And so I'm really excited for those books too, obviously, that will be coming out this year. And so that is everything for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. I do new book videos every single week, and I will see you next time.